There is rarely a dramatic moment when someone decides not to share their life online. Is not always a declaration, not a rebellion. It's often a feeling, a small tightening in the chest before posting, a pause that lingers too long over the share button, a subtle discomfort that is difficult to explain but impossible to ignore. Something about turning a private experience into a public display feels slightly misaligned. For some, the decision begins after noticing how different they feel from others. Friends document vacations in real-time, meals are photographed before they are tasted, milestones are announced within seconds. There is an unspoken rhythm to digital life: post, react, update, repeat, and yet they hesitate. They might scroll through carefully curated lives and feel a strange distance, not jealousy exactly, not judgment, just a quiet awareness that their own experiences do not want to be translated into captions. Their joy feels softer than that, their sadness feels too sacred. The recognition is subtly, do not want to be observed all the time. This awareness can arrive gradually. A person may have once shared freely, posted frequently, participated in trends, but over time something shifts. The act of sharing begins to feel performative, as if each moment must be shaped to fit an invisible audience. Instead of living there, is documenting. Instead of feeling there, is framing them. The mind grows tired. For others, the silence has always been there. They join platforms out of curiosity, perhaps even pressure, but never feel fully at ease. They watch more than they speak, observe more than they reveal. Their presence is quiet, almost invisible. It is not indifference. It is caution, because to share a life publicly is to invite interpretation, to offer pieces of oneself to be evaluated, compared, misunderstood. Not everyone feels equipped for that. Not everyone desires it. The beginning, they may not even understand their own resistance. They might tell themselves it is laziness or lack of interest, or that they are simply not good at social media. But beneath those surface explanations lies something deeper, a need for containment. Some people experience the world internally. They process, slowly feel deeply when a meaningful moment happens, a birthday, a breakup, a quiet evening alone. The instinct is to turn inward, not outward, to sit with the emotion, to let it settle. Posting interrupts that process, introduces external energy into something that was once private. Notifications begin, comments arrive, reactions accumulate. The moment is no longer just theirs. It becomes shared property for a mind that values internal space. This can feel intrusive. There is also the awareness of permanence. Once something is posted, it exists beyond immediate control. Screenshots, algorithms, archives. Even if deleted, it was seen, it was interpreted, it left an imprint. Some people are highly sensitive to this loss of containment. They prefer experiences that fade naturally rather than live indefinitely in digital memory, and so quietly they choose not to participate. No announcement is made, no explanation offered. They simply stop posting, or they never begin. First, others may notice. Questions arise. Why are you so inactive? You never post anything. The world often assumes visibility equals engagement. Silence can be misread as disinterest, secrecy, even antisocial behavior. But internally, the decision feels grounding. There is relief in not curating, relief in not measuring one's life by reactions, relief in experiencing something fully without translating it into something consumable. This is the emotional beginning. A rejection of connection, not a rejection of technology, but a subtle alignment with inner preference. Some lives feel safest when they are lived quietly. Some people feel most authentic when they are not being watched. The quiet decision is rarely about others. It is about maintaining a certain psychological space, and for those who make it, that boundary feels like peace. Long before social media existed, the foundation for visibility was already forming. A child learns early whether it is safe to be seen, not Just physically seen, but emotionally seen, whether their excitement is welcomed, whether their sadness is handled gently, whether their thoughts are listened to without interruption or dismissal. These early moments become quiet blueprints. They teach the nervous system what attention feels like. For some, attention felt warm, safe, encouraging. For others, attention felt unpredictable. Perhaps praise was conditional. Love arrived when performance was impressive. Achievements were celebrated, but vulnerability was uncomfortable. A child who cried too loudly might have been told to calm down. A child who spoke too openly might have been teased, corrected, or misunderstood. Over time, the lesson becomes subtle but powerful. Being visible carries risk. In families where privacy was highly valued, children learned to keep personal matters inside the home. Emotions were not displayed publicly. Struggles were not discussed outside trusted circles. Even joy was contained. This does not always create fear. Sometimes it creates reverence, a sense that personal experiences are sacred. Not everything belongs to the outside world. In other homes, the dynamic was different. A child may have felt overlooked. Their stories interrupted, their interests minimized. Being seen did not feel dangerous, it felt pointless. If no one truly listened, visibility lost its meaning. Adults, these individuals may not feel the urge to broadcast their lives, not because they lack experiences, but because they never learned that sharing brings connections. There are also those who were overexposed children, whose lives were displayed without consent, photos shared widely, personal stories told in front of others, embarrassing moments laughed at publicly. In such environments, privacy was not protected. The child learned something else. The world does not always handle your story gently. Later, when given control over their own narrative, they guard it carefully. Silence becomes protection. Attachment patterns also play a quiet role. A child with an anxious attachment may grow into an adult who seeks validation through visibility, but a child with avoidant tendencies often learns to self-soothe internally, to rely on themselves, to limit emotional exposure. Them sharing personal details broadly can feel unnatural. It invites a level of closeness that does not feel entirely safe. Then there is the experience of being misunderstood. Some children grow up feeling slightly different, quieter, more observant, perhaps more sensitive. When they attempted to express themselves, their depth was not always received. Complex feelings were simplified. Inner worlds were overlooked. Over time, they internalize a quiet belief: it is easier to keep things to myself. This belief can follow them into adulthood and into digital spaces. Social media at its core is a stage. Even when used casually, it invites performance. For someone whose early experiences with visibility were uncomfortable, it does not feel inviting, it feels exposing. There may also have been moments of betrayal, secrets shared with friends that were later repeated, vulnerabilities mocked, trust broken. Each experience teaches the nervous system to associate sharing with potential harm. By adulthood, these lessons are no longer conscious memories. They are sensations, instincts, subtle resistance when faced with the option to post something personal. The body may tense before the mind understands why. A quiet voice whispers caution. This is not weakness, it is conditioning. Even cultural and generational influences matter. Some were raised in environments where modesty was emphasized, drawing attention to oneself was discouraged. Privacy equaled dignity, exposure equaled arrogance. In these contexts, not sharing is not avoidance, it is alignment with deeply rooted values. All of these early experiences converge silently in the present moment. Adults scrolling through social media is not just responding to technology. They are responding from a history of being seen, unseen, overexposed, misunderstood, protected, or neglected. The choice not to share is rarely random, it is layered. It carries echoes of childhood rooms, dinner tables, school hallways, private disappointments, quiet victories that were never announced. Where the silence began is not in the app, it began much earlier. Understanding this origin changes the story it reveals. That the decision to remain private is not a flaw in personality. It is often a carefully constructed boundary built from years of emotional learning, boundaries shaped by memory, but beneath those surface explanations lies something deeper: a need for containment. Some people experience the world internally. They process slowly, feel deeply. When a meaningful moment happens, a birthday, a breakup, a quiet evening alone, the instinct is to turn inward, not outward, to sit with the emotion, to let it settle. Posting interrupts that process, introduces external energy into something that was once private. Notifications begin, comments arrive. Reactions accumulate. The moment is no longer just theirs. It becomes shared property for a mind that values internal space. This can feel intrusive. There is also the awareness of permanence. Once something is posted, it exists beyond immediate control. Screenshots, algorithms, archives, even if deleted, it was seen, it was interpreted, it left an imprint. Some people are highly sensitive to this loss of containment. They prefer experiences that fade naturally, rather than live indefinitely in digital memory, and so quietly they choose not to participate. No announcement is made, no explanation offered. They simply stop posting, or they never begin. At first, others may notice, questions arise. Why are you so inactive? You never post anything. The world often assumes visibility equals engagement. Silence can be misread as disinterest, secrecy, even antisocial behavior, but internally the decision feels grounding. There is relief in not curating, relief in not measuring one's life by reactions, relief in experiencing something fully without translating it into something consumable. This is the emotional beginning, not a rejection of connection, not a rejection of technology, but a subtle alignment with inner preference. Some lives feel safest when they are lived quietly. Some people feel most authentic when they are not being watched. The quiet decision is rarely about others. It's about maintaining a certain psychological space, and for those who make it, that boundary feels like peace. To understand why some people choose not to share their lives on social media, it helps to look beneath preference and into the architecture of the mind. Human beings are wired for connection. The brain responds to social approval with measurable neurological rewards. When a person receives positive feedback, small releases of dopamine reinforce the behavior. Validation feels good, recognition feels stabilizing. Belonging feels safe. For many, social media becomes an extension of this ancient system, a digital form of tribe building. Each reaction confirms presence. Each comment signals inclusion, but not every nervous system experiences this process the same way. Some individuals are more sensitive to external evaluation. Research on social anxiety and rejection sensitivity shows that certain brains scan constantly for subtle signs of judgment, a delayed response, a lack of engagement, a change in tone. These details can feel amplified for a mind attuned to potential criticism. Posting is not neutral, it activates vigilance. The question is no longer will this be liked, it becomes how will this be perceived? The brain's threat detection system, designed to protect against exclusion, may interpret digital silence as social risk. Ironically, this makes sharing feel less rewarding and more stressful. Instead of dopamine, there is anticipation. Instead of ease, there is monitoring. Introversion also plays a role. Introversion is not simply shyness, it is a difference in how energy is regulated. Introverted individuals often feel overstimulated by prolonged external interactions. Social media, though seemingly passive, can be mentally draining. The constant flow of information, opinions, updates, and images creates cognitive load for some. Observing without contributing feels manageable. Participating feels exhausting. There It's also the phenomenon of social comparisons. Psychologist Leon Festinger proposed that humans evaluate themselves in relation to others. Social media intensifies this instinct. Carefully curated highlights create a stream of upward comparisons. Others appear more successful, more connected, more fulfilled for. Individuals prone to overthinking this environment can quietly erode self-perception. Each post becomes a potential metric. Am I doing enough, achieving enough, living enough? Choosing not to share can be a way of stepping out of this comparison loop. Not as denial, but as self-preservation. Attachment theory adds another layer. Those with avoidant attachment styles often value autonomy and emotional independence. Public self-disclosure may feel intrusive, even when no threat is present. Sharing personal experiences broadly can create a subtle sense of vulnerability that clashes with their internal need for control. Privacy in this context is regulating. There is also the concept of self-concept clarity, how clearly and confidently a person understands their own identity. When identity feels stable internally, external validation becomes less necessary. The urge to display one's life decreases because self-definition is not dependent on audience response. In contrast, when identity feels fragile, sharing can become a way to stabilize it. So, when someone chooses not to share, it does not automatically signal insecurity. In many cases, it reflects a strong internal anchor. Neuroscience also shows that constant exposure to social feedback can heighten emotional reactivity. Notifications activate reward pathways, unpredictably similar to gambling systems. This unpredictability can increase compulsive checking behaviors. For some individuals, this cycle feels destabilizing. They sense the pull toward constant monitoring and choose to disengage entirely. There is another psychological dimension: narrative ownership. Humans construct meaning through storytelling. When a moment is posted publicly, it becomes open to reinterpretation. Others comment, label, react. The narrative shifts from private meaning to shared interpretation. For individuals who value inner coherence, this shift can feel disruptive. They prefer their memories to remain internally authored. Ivan. Personality traits such as high openness and high sensitivity influence this behavior. Sensitive individuals process experiences deeply. They may require time to integrate events before discussing them. Social media's immediacy conflicts with that rhythm. Scientific layers reveal something important. Not sharing is not inherently antisocial. It is not automatically secretive. It is often the product of temperament, attachment, cognitive processing style, and emotional regulation patterns. The mind is constantly calculating safety. For some, visibility equals connection. For others, visibility equals exposure. The difference lies not in character but in psychological wiring. To be unseen by choice is not to disappear. It is to regulate. It is to manage stimulation, to protect identity, to preserve emotional energy. But beneath those surface explanations lies something deeper: need for containments. Some people experience the world internally. They process slowly, feel deeply. When a meaningful moment happens, a birthday, a breakup, a quiet evening alone, the instinct is to turn inward, not outward, to sit with the emotion, to let it settle. Posting interrupts that process, introduces external energy into something that was once private. Notifications begin, comments arrive. Reactions accumulate. The moment is no longer just theirs. It becomes shared property for a mind that values internal space. This can feel intrusive. There is also the awareness of permanence. Once something is posted, it exists beyond immediate control. Screenshots, algorithms, archives, even if deleted, it was seen, it was interpreted, it left an imprint. Some people are highly sensitive to this loss of containment. They prefer experiences that fade naturally, rather than live indefinitely in digital memory, and so quietly they choose not to participate. No announcement is made, no explanation offered. They simply stop posting, or they never begin. At first, others may notice questions arise. Why are you so inactive? You never post anything. The world often assumes visibility equals engagement. Silence can be misread as disinterest, secrecy, even antisocial behavior, but internally the decision feels grounding. There is relief in not curating, relief in not measuring one's life by reactions, relief in experiencing something fully without translating it into something consumable. This is the emotional beginning, a rejection of connection, not a rejection of technology, but a subtle alignment with inner preference. Some lives feel safest when they are lived quietly. Some people feel most authentic when they are not being watched. The quiet decision is rarely about others, is about maintaining a certain psychological space, and for those who make it, that boundary feels like peace.